Welcome to Podcast This Escape, the podcast where we talk about the escape room that we escaped from in the previous episode of this podcast. Sully, Ken, you did it. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Not only did you escape from a room, you went from self-admitted no genetics knowledge to solving like year 12 high school level or even university level genetics puzzles.
Oh,
So you did great.
Amazing.
That's
We could be
good.
geneticists.
Before we delve too deep, I will say, if you are here because it's National Science Week and you've just jumped onto this episode, this isn't the escape room. Please go back to the previous episode. You can hear the actual audio escape room. This is just a debrief session. Okay, bye everybody who came here not knowing. See you later. We'll see you soon. You can meet us. I'll meet you back here in an hour. All right. Now that they've all got to the correct episode,
Sullivan, we know that you in particular need to speed off in a bit, so I'd love to get some of your thoughts, your feelings, what
did
you're
you
proud
enjoy the
of.
room? What was your proudest moment in that room, Sullivan?
I loved the room. It was so much fun. I really, really enjoyed it. I think I was very happy. I worked out Muse was the missing one.
Yeah,
was causing the
Your
code.
instinct went right there.
Yeah. I could see it a mile off. I could
You
just
know the
tell.
dodgy goat.
I made it too obvious in chapter 1.
No, not at all. It was that was really great. And then when we worked out the Hen 3 Cup and the Beckford, that was fantastic.
That was
I really
fun.
loved those. Yeah, that was brilliant. Hen 3 is brilliant. I think Ken is a fantastic partner to have in an escape room because a lot of that gene stuff, I was like, I could work this out, but my brain can't do it. But thankfully, Ken's mind could. Thank God.
You were an excellent team with that stuff. And yeah, I thought that it went really well. And I'm really glad that, because I know that's the sort of stuff, looking at that filing cabinet, that is intimidating to look at. And yet, you pulled it apart. You got there because it turns out a lot of this stuff is just puzzles.
Yeah, we love puzzles.
Yeah.
Yes, but it was really lovely to have you here playing. I'm really glad you enjoyed it and you got something fun out of it. I know you need to leave, so we can let you go early at the start of this episode, and we can continue our debrief with Ken, and we can chat about the room. So thank you so much for coming on, Sullivan. It was really lovely to have you.
Thank you for having me. You're lovely people. And I'll come back again, please. Thank you. Yes, have a lovely day.
Great.
I'll just say goodbye.
Okay. Now that loser's
Sullivan's
outta here,
gone, let's talk about him.
Ken, you're still here with us. We're happy to keep chatting. On your end, did you have any moment in this room that you felt especially proud of your performance?
I'm trying to remember. There was specific. Maybe the goats on the hill, goats on the.
I was
window.
very impressed with your
second,
grab
third.
of here's what first, second, and third probably refers to, letters of their names once we've organized them.
I think those kind of puzzles. It's quite a recent thing. I've started going to this thing called Puzzled Pints.
Oh,
Have you
yeah.
heard of it?
Yep. We know of. I've never been, but I know of.
Do they have one in your?
I think they
It's
do
all over
have,
the
or at
world.
least we have the capacity to get the puzzles in some form.
That
All the
might
puzzles
be
are
it.
online anyway, but every month there's puzzles in a pub, and actually loads of people were there last week. It was like 90 people there just to solve these 4 sheets of like cryptic puzzles, and these are the kind of puzzles.
They're
like,
intense.
They're
They're generally beyond what you would find in a typical escape room, for sure.
yes, but I love them. It's good fun. I'd recommend.
Okay.
It's just good fun with friends.
We've definitely got some listeners and friends who participate in those. We've got some people who write for things like that.
Yes, I'm very impressed by what you guys do, and anyone who creates puzzles, because it's work backwards from like, I need someone to be able to solve this in an interesting way. I'm very impressed that anyone is able to do that.
And in this one, it was extremely difficult, I would say more so than usual. Usually it's not too bad in the ones that I do. I like to say that as far as writing escape rooms go, I'm more R.L. Stein than Tolstoy. I don't know how prolific Tolstoy was.
They were like
but
2 books.
I do a lot of little ones, and
I see.
rather than making one big magnum opus. But
Sure.
this one was a little bit different because I was trying to do it with science in mind, and I went straight to, I did biology and genetics at university. That's the thing that I loved, and I always loved how puzzly it felt. But How do you introduce that to people so they can do it in an hour? Is that doable? What if people know a little bit? What if they know a lot? What if they know nothing? How are you going to make sure that this can be done? And I was worried up until playtesting. I was very fearful that it was just going to collapse in on itself.
It was quite intimidating when you mentioned before it started that we need some genetics, but actually I guess the gene thing lends itself quite well to logic puzzle. It is just a logic puzzle, isn't it? It's just
yeah
it
really
so
is.
It lends itself very well.
Yeah, often it's like so many things, just the words and the jargon that you decorate it with make it seem so much more inaccessible than the work is. Maths has a lot of that problem as well. The looking at it is awful, but the steps that you actually have to do, most of the time they don't really get any harder than plus minus times divide, do they?
Yeah, and they end up just being fun little logic puzzles. But under the veil of this is mathematics, people go, oh, I can't possibly do that. You're like, oh, you probably can. It's just a fun little puzzle. It's just really hard to, there's a bit of inscrutability that you have to get through sometimes.
Where do you stand on maths as a thing that you can do in escape rooms?
I love a bit of, I guess like all of logic is maths. So, but like too much, like I think a little bit of arithmetic is always nice. But you don't want to alienate people who just don't want to touch arithmetic.
Yeah, because some people will they see a plus
They freeze
sign
up
and
a
they
bit.
shut down. They think, no, sorry.
Most
I'm out.
of the time, what you see is things that can be just trial and error. But if you happen to know the maths, you can see, just a little bit of simultaneous equations can get this done faster if you know
Simultaneous
what
equations,
to do.
yeah.
That tends to be the biggest one, I feel.
But I like this. So I play tested this room recently, and I don't have any real sort of I did a little bit of biology. Not at school. I did a little bit at university. So I had a tiny bit
You
of.
got to touch dead bodies at university.
Yeah, I did do.
Ooh.
human
You did
anatomy,
forensics.
So I had a lot of.
Oh,
it was
forensics,
like,
not
here's
just
the body.
for fun. Not
but-
just part of your fraternity.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't a hazing thing. But so I had a little bit going in. So even then, it was interesting to see how it was going to work for two people who ostensibly, like, we weren't sure. You might have come in saying, "Oh, I have got a biology degree and I love this and I'm so good at," or you might have come in with nothing. And I think the two of you both sort of said, "Yeah, you hadn't really done any of this sort of stuff before." Did you find partway through that you thought, like, it sounded to us like there was a sort of moment, especially when solving the first of those two puzzles, where you went, I get it. I get what I'm doing here. I understand the idea of this being recessive and dominant. Did you feel like it kind of gave you at least a bit of the understanding of how that works? Or did you sort of think, I'll just kind of prod until this shapes into place?
I think it did. But I also do remember quite a lot about year 10. Well, when I was 15, year 10, I do remember that section of biology. So I think knowing what dominant and recessive means helped get past the first hurdle.
That was definitely my hope. There's obviously plenty of stuff that is outside knowledge that you don't want people to have, but you can always go into an escape room assuming that, like, people know the alphabet. Dominant and recessive is that a little bit further than the alphabet, but I was crossing my fingers that was something that would at least bring back a bit of muscle memory from a bygone day.
I think people in general get that as a
They were forced to do that once.
Yeah. So if you intuitively understand, like, if you have one dominant, one recessive, the dominant will be the gene. Then I think that helped. Yeah. I think that helped a lot. So I think from there it was quite the logic was quite straightforward, which was good. Like,
do you find, Danny? So you put this one together. Like, it also, in my eyes, playing through it earlier, it still feels like an escape room because there's there's the space and the steps and there's a lot of puzzles. Did you find it like hard to balance? Like, when am I going to put in stuff that is just, here's some science, here's some genetics, and what's going to be normal escape room? You like the first place ribbons, getting the letters from the goats' names to get the code, that sort of stuff, which is very classic escape room.
I definitely started with, I want a family tree, and then just sort of worked backwards from there. And then, the entirety of my storyline notes for this one is goal: find rest of family tree. It's been mixed with goat food. Run outside and don't let goats eat it. That was my start. Then I drew a family tree, and so I guess everything from there is what piece of paper? There's some piece of paper that you need. And it's got to get to goats outside. So that just started building. There must be goats outside. And then what do you do with that? How do you open a filing cabinet and everything? That just built onto the others from there. So no, in general, when I write these rooms, Ken, typically I do story first and then puzzles dead last. This one was almost identical to a normal one, except I started with one puzzle first of what this family tree was going to look like. And oh boy, did it go through a couple of iterations. I almost just opened my old uni genetics textbook and stole one, because trying to come up with one that makes sense and trying to decide, how do I want these genetics to work? That's too much power. You can create a family tree that looks like anything. There's no limitations on it there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely wanted the majority of it to be normal escape room puzzles. And I don't know why goats. I have no idea why goats, especially since it forced me to really work hard to draw goats.
Yes, those are good goats.
You can tell. Can I assume that you can tell my levels of drawing dedication? So the goat figurines, I worked quite hard on those.
They were great.
The carton, the milk carton.
Oh,
I cared so much about that milk
trophies.
carton. And then the trophies, I'd done too much by then. I was burnt out.
The trophy. The trophy.
There's a certain. It's always very funny doing like art assets for this. Like I don't do any of the art assets for almost. I've done like one or two in the history of Escape This podcast, but I remember doing it for when we were working on Rise of the Golden Idol. So we were part of the writing team for Rise of the Golden Idol, and a lot of that early on was me going, I know what's meant to be in the scene, but because it's in the design phase, we don't have the artists yet. So I'll just draw all the people and the objects, and just like they're the ugliest things in the world. It's like, as long as you know there's a person and he's got blue pants, I don't care.
Amazing.
What else.
Amazing.
He could be a stick figure, but I just need some little visual representation here. Ken, I also want to say, in terms of things that I thought were done really well in this room, you very quickly getting to each of these ribbons will be X, or like that'll be the nth letter of each of those goats'
that was
names.
The bit
I thought that
I was impressed
very
by.
clear, very nice. And I think that's a show that's clear that you've done a lot of escape rooms, puzzles, and also just like general puzzles and things like that before, which we already know about you. You've got a reputation now as a puzzle gaming master.
I've got it all now. Yeah.
Did you find like so obviously you've just done the Genius game. You did a lot of puzzles and games and things through that. Do you find there's like a connection between that type of puzzly style gameplay and escape rooms, and then board games, which you also have such a big such a big part of what you do? Are they very distinct? Do they feel different to you? Does it all feel like one family of games and puzzles? Is it all kind of the same?
I do feel they're different enough. There's definitely similar things that you're using parts of your brain for, but I guess the difference is like this is entirely I was cooperative with Sullivan versus a thing that you've made in advance rather than against a living, breathing person who is trying to react to what I'm doing and make it harder for me. So puzzles have that aspect where you're like solving something that was created for the purpose of you having an interesting time. Though that's not too dissimilar from something like Blood on the Clock Tower. The storyteller is trying to create an interesting puzzle at every point. Or like those kind of games, or like TTRPGs, where the DM is ultimately trying to make it as interesting as possible for the player, and the player can kind of react to that concept quite well. And I think that helps a lot. But I guess, stuff like Genius and playing board games is more directly strategy and psychology. But I think just exercising your brain in all these different ways. I do so much, like I do Sudoku sometimes, like like I watch Cracking the Cryptic. I don't know.
Yep.
Yes, we've been cracking the Cryptic fans here.
And that kind of teaches you to think laterally a lot and think, okay, where do I go from here? I love the figuring out where to go element of stuff like escape rooms, Cracking the Cryptic, Puzzle Pints. It's and that moment where it clicks. I love kind of adventure games on PC and stuff, like puzzly adventure games, story games like that, point and click, and I grew up playing those. So that definitely scratches that kind of same itch there.
Yeah,
there's something
that will be resonating with an awful lot of our listeners.
Yeah, there's that lovely endorphin of like solving a puzzle is fundamental. Like your human brain kind of really loves it. There's a moment where it just goes, "Yes, you did it. You cracked it. You figured it out," and it feels very good.
You spend the 12 most formative years of your life like in an environment where people are just putting little ticks and crosses next to things, and you don't get that much as an adult. But and for me, it's trivia as well. You get the approval. Someone has told you you've done something correct.
It's so good. It feels so satisfying. And also, have you played There Is No Game?
Yes.
Oh, we've played the original Game Jam version.
I think I played the more thorough one.
Oh, okay, lovely.
Yeah, it's one of my fave games ever.
Yeah, that's great fun. I really enjoyed that.
Very satisfying.
It really is.
Yeah.
Do you feel actually that's an interesting thought? Just while you were talking about like there's some that are like competitive where it's strategy between players within the context of a game, and then there's things like an escape room where you are sort of engaging much more cooperatively with the game itself.
Yeah, ideally, some game masters out there, and there are some places out there that feel a little bit more antagonistic.
Well, true. But do you think that like affects? Do you feel like maybe in a competitive thing you're more likely to try and find ways to undermine the game itself? Because if you stick too rigorously to it, you might lose an advantage that you could find by deliberately not engaging with it. Whereas when it's like an escape room or a puzzle part, or there's much more. You spend more time engaging with it as designed rather than trying to press and break the boundaries of it. Do you find that's true in your experience?
I think so. Like for one example, when I'm doing escape rooms, I don't like to trial and error anything that I think can be done on logic. If I was trying to win competitively, you would just trial and error the this is
as soon as you have the final 2 digits, you might as well start
the 3-digit code, and you have two digits. You could just try and error. I don't like doing that because I like to do it within the spirit that the designer wanted it to be done.
I had that in this one. Like once you had all of the 4 pairs of letters for the genetic things, if you hadn't solved the picture codes on the lock to tell you the order,
it's not hard
there were only 24? 24 possible options.
Yeah, it's quite easy.
Not many.
So you could have theoretically tried all of those, but where's the fun?
Exactly.
And I had faith that you would feel the same way.
Yeah. It was very satisfying seeing those cup names. Oh, wait a minute, Hen 3.
Wait a minute,
okay,
Hen 3.
Yeah, they had to be.
I think Hen 3 is the biggest giveaway.
Oh, it definitely is. That was the starting point. I don't know why they unraveled as far as Beckford. I truly don't know what my thought process was.
Beckford. Because Beckett goes Fud.
I think having done loads of escape rooms, I kind of knew it had to be that at that stage. There's 4 things. Yeah, you kind of know that everything has to be used. So it was probably the last thing left. I think even if I didn't work out the words, I'd be like, oh, it's going to be those things.
Yeah, it's one of those you learn the languages of the games that you're playing, and you kind of learn the culture of an escape room. You're like, well, this hasn't been done. It's definitely going to be. So let's bring it into this final puzzle because we're on our way out.
No, just one last thing that I want to bring up in that way, where it is about understanding who you're dealing with and what the feel of the game is. You got through all of the puzzles just fine, but then the ending, where I just said, oh, where might this missing document have gone? And Bill, in playtests, you got this immediately. Ken and Sullivan together, you got this amazingly, just instantly, just saying, it's been fed to goats. And that could have, some person who was just not on the same page as me could have taken forever and never gotten to that.
Yes.
And yet...
Who would use a goat to get rid of rubbish? Goats are noble creatures. They eat only the greenest grasses and the finest hay.
That's why I put on their food bag, goats eat practically anything.
Well, here's the thing. I didn't expect to have to go outside for it. I wouldn't have actually. I just thought it would be in the food. I was like, the food is still, well, it has been interacted with, but it could be. That's probably the key in where I was like, oh, okay, there's animal food, goats, yeah.
That's fair. Fair. Yeah, you could have dug further into it. I could have, when you brought it up earlier, said, oh yeah, you could do that right now if you wanted, but you won't find anything. So I thought that might be like lifting your spirits just to crush you. So I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I made it a half full bag of food, just so that, it has been eaten or used recently.
It's been eaten by Sullivan and Ken. They've
But-
been nibbling throughout the day.
Yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, in general, I was just so happy that everyone knows you're going to feed paper to goats.
It worked out well.
It's a classic move. Farm animals, feed them stuff.
Exactly.
Get rid
But
of
I'm
evidence.
sure that there are some people out there who haven't experienced that part of media.
But it's true, actually. It's nice noting that you do make a point on the thing saying goats will eat almost anything. You want to
that's
add in a
true.
little
In
thing
case.
just in case someone's completely doesn't have anything. You need something to latch on to be like, oh, wait, that's a clue. Maybe that'll help me out.
Yeah.
So that's nice. Danny, I don't think much changed from the playtest of this. I think you pretty much
No,
had it
very
then.
little.
And you've talked a little bit about changes as you went, mostly to the sides of that. Was there anything else structurally that changed?
Oh, there were things that were culled and kept in. At one point, the trophy puzzle I just have written in my notes, no, too similar to Ribbon's puzzle. And I was trying to figure out, do I want this to be based on colors? Do I want it? And then I said place names. So that was coming up with Beckford and Henry and everything was apparently my third attempt at
fun.
something there. Originally on the table, there wasn't a note. There was some sort of map of like an obstacle course for a goat show that was going to give you directions in some way. And I just put a big cross through that. I just got over that one.
I don't need that.
And then the hardest part was listing out a whole bunch of facts. I think I have 9 facts about genetics that needed to be somewhere in the room. And just trying to figure out where they were going to go. So it's like the main branch family tree. And I just went, great, you're just going to be given that. The left branch, the right branch, the fact that goats are XX or XY, the symbol for male and the symbol for female. So that just goes on the family tree. A little bit about the beard gene, a little bit about the dominant, recessive, codominance, partial dominance. The fact that black colored in on the family tree probably means they've got the Edward Teach gene. And then a little bit about other traits like the horns or the long hair. And I needed to try to fit that everywhere without making it feel like the room was a textbook. So that was my biggest worry throughout the entire
It's
thing.
really well
and that
done. It
definitely-
didn't feel like a textbook at all.
Oh, I'm so relieved. And that was, definitely my biggest bunch of changes. And you can see my first attempt at a family tree was a bit of a mess. I don't know if we can hold that up to the camera. It went all over the place.
Oh, wow. There we go.
Yeah, that is for people at home.
Lots of
You've just got
different strands.
There's
different
3.
members
There's
of the
2
family.
different ones. One of them is going off to different. One of them's
At one point, I
3-dimensional.
wanted
Danny.
a goat to cheat on another goat.
Oh, yeah, just put some real goat drama
Yep.
in there.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
But I think that was more likely. I went, no. At that point, I went, this is too much. This would be the entire escape room. And in which case, if you're going to have an entire room that is just one big family tree, forget the escape room. Just go online and play The Root Trees Are Dead. Incidentally, everyone, I know we said this last season, go find and play The Root Trees Are Dead.
Yes, if you enjoyed Family
Root
Trees,
trees are dead.
The Root Trees Are Dead is your next port of call. It's a fantastic game. And you should all go and play it. It's a very enjoyable game made by some people who've been on the show. If you can also listen to them play an escape room.
And if you just like
This
goats,
looks good.
there are,
It's so
as
good,
I
Ken.
understand it, some significant goat simulation games out there.
There are many.
I have one final question I'd like to ask Danny.
Oh.
Sorry to be asking Danny so many questions
Let's go.
about at the end of this episode. How much of this is true
Oh, of genetic information?
about goats?
Yes,
Is
yeah.
hornlessness recessive or longhorns recessive in a goat? Is this all
Okay.
true goat info?
So,
Or did you
goat-
just make up genes?
No, the Edward Teach Blackbeard goat genes, made up.
Sure.
that one was
that's-
just for
Oh
fun.
my god.
To the best of my
Scandal.
knowledge. I'm so sorry.
So clever.
The pollardness, that being a word, I assume that's how it's pronounced, that was all real.
Nice.
Things about eye color, totally real. Hair color seemed like it was a bit more variant depending on what breed of goat you were dealing with. So
Sure.
there's likely some exaggeration and simplifications going on there. The fact that they just, I was really concerned about how their chromosomes were going to work, but they do just have a lot of pairs of chromosomes, more than humans, and they are XX or XY
Great.
for the typical males and females, which was lucky because some animals get way weirder. and I didn't know how to explain the weird ones.
Yes, that's the problem. Genetics, they also do get a bit wild.
I have-
Even all the basic recessive dominant stuff is also with a
I
big asterisk
have
of
a
not
note
really.
at the top of my notes for this room, if anyone wants to take these notes and play them yourself at home. One of my personal notes at the top is biology and genetics is really complicated. Everything comes with an asterisk. A lot has been simplified. Even the example that I gave of human eye color is not as simple as a basic Punnett square thing, which is devastating. But, so yeah, everything is just done. Science is one of those things where you learn a little bit in high school, and then if you do it further in senior high school, your teachers will tell you, all right, all that junior high school stuff, that was essentially a lie. Here's the real stuff. Then you go to university and they say, all right, all that stuff that you learned, I hope you didn't take this in high school because that was a lie. Here's
the
really
real
works.
science.
And there are so many layers to all of it. So asterisks all over the place. But in general, the information gained here is useful. It is not going to be something that you need to immediately reject as horrible fake science.
You can all go out and become goat breeders tomorrow.
Thank God. But how
Wonderful.
true is all the RGL stuff? Does that exist?
Yeah, is there a real royal?
Let's
royal
find
goat
out
league?
now, shall we? That was actually a problem. I wanted to come up with a combination of words that wasn't going to immediately link to a real goat organization. Like, initially, I want to say I started out with the something goat society, and then that one was just very real. And I went, I feel bad.
I feel like there's probably a federation. I can imagine a
Exactly.
federation.
But I felt like league was the least likely to be real. The phrase Royal Goat League likely refers to the Sydney Royal Goat Show, Australia's most prestigious goat competition held as part of the Sydney
No
Royal
way.
Easter Show.
Oh no, we're gonna get in
It's
trouble
just called the
with
Sydney Royal Goat Show.
Okay, good.
But yeah, their league tables will be all over them.
Perfect.
Amazing.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Ken, for coming on and playing one of these rooms. I hope you had a really lovely time.
I did. It was amazing. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really
And,
fun, yeah.
Thank you, Danny, for writing a room.
And thank you for playtesting and voicing this room.
That's true. And thank you, everybody at home. Which thanks all around. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to help support the show, you can just tell anybody about it. Go and tell a friend, tell an enemy, tell a stranger, and try and spread the word. You can also support us on Patreon. We don't run ads on this show. All of our supporting is through crowdfunding. And anybody who signs up at any level on the Patreon can appear as an NPC in one of these rooms.
Yeah, so thank you so much to Lily and Barbara Christine, our humans in these rooms. Sorry, Muse and Reunion and the like, those were not patrons.
Too many goats to put
I
patron names on
didn't think
goats.
that it would give you your due credit to
Yeah,
just
you don't
make
wanna
you a
be-
goat on a family
You don't want to
tree.
be Curly, who's just sitting on the left side of that family tree. That's not a good use for a Patreon name. There's also bonus episodes. There's a new episode every week for our $5 donors, including audio of the playtests, as well as solving mysteries and doing cryptic crosswords and a whole bunch of fun stuff there. There's monthly videos. There's a whole new show where we react, for some reason, to the TV show Charmed, which is for our $10 donors. There's videos and trivia. I mean, it's not really related to the rest of our brand, but it's a very fun show. So thank you, everybody who supports us there. Wonderful.
And Ken, is there anywhere if people want to hear more of you or
Yes.
see more of you,
Oh,
where should they
yes.
go?
Where
You
people find
can
more?
go to LinkedIn. I'm just Ken Cheng on LinkedIn, or Instagram, I guess. Ken Cheng Comedy on Instagram. I also started doing some YouTube stuff. You can find
Yes.
me at Ken Cheng Plays, I think. Yeah, just various bits of it. But my Instagram will get you to my link tree, which will get you everywhere. So that's
Wonderful. And we'll have links in the show notes to all that sort
That's
of
all
stuff. So
good.
people can go and check it out. And we'd highly recommend it. We're big
also
fans.
watch the Genius Game. That's mainly.
And watch
Definitely.
Genius
we
Game.
If
we
you
were
watch
lucky
Genius
enough
Game
to be in the UK when it was just about to finish its run, so we
So
got
we're
to have a
watching it.
good binge of it.
on the ITV app, it was very lovely.
It was really good. Like Asian death games is like my favorite fictional genre, so it was
Yes,
really good.
I love career reality. It's so good.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.